What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to the Retrograde right here on Dead Jester Cinema. Now, since it has been a while, and in case any of you guys forgot how the Retrograde works, I take a movie, go through it, and then when it's all said and done, I then break that movie down into 4 gradable categories: story, characters, direction, and music. And then I take those grades, and then I combine them to come up with an overall grade for the entire film. And on this brand new edition of the Retrograde, we're going to look at the 1988 film, Night of the Demons. Now, this is a movie I've been kind of wanting to do here on the Retrograde for a little while, as I kind of have fond memories of it growing up. It was a movie that was introduced to me by a buddy of mine when I was really young, and it was sort of right around the time when I started getting into horror movies because of Halloween. And this movie in particular scared the living shit out of me when I was little. And I laugh at it now because I laugh at how scared I was back then, to the point I think I remember crying over this movie. But I have since grown to love it over the years. It is a favorite of mine, but I am going to be fair and honest and break it down here on the Retrograde. So without further ado, let's get into the movie. Our film begins on a pretty bitchin' opening credit sequence, after which we are introduced to 4 of our main characters harassing and picking on this helpless old man. Our 5th main character, Judy, who is also our female lead, stops to help him. And you know, I kind of feel bad for the guy. I mean,
I don't need to help you, damn little whore!
Nah, you know what? Never mind. F this guy. Anyways, all of our main characters here are getting ready to attend a Halloween party thrown by Angela at the ultra spooky Scooby-Doo looking Hull House. And upon arrival, Max regales the rest of his posse about the history of the house, which includes necrophilia and the original owner murdering his whole family, then committing suicide. Boy oh boy, this place is sounding like a real 4-star establishment. Max also confirms an old legend about the house by discovering an underwater stream that supposedly surrounds the entire property. Foreshadowing! Soon after, the rest of the gang arrives and the party is on.
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
But not for long, as the batteries conveniently die in Stooge's radio. And this momentary lapse makes Angela suggest getting down to a different kind of party, one of the more spiritual nature. A super fun seance! Which doing so awakens the ancient evil possessing the house. And when Helen sees its reflection in the mirror, she justifiably freaks the fuck out, causing the mirror to fall and shatter. Wait, can we see that again? No, it did not just really fall like a piece of cardboard, did it? Oh my god, yes it did. Wow. Anyways, the demonic entity breaks free from its crematory prison in the basement and then runs Evil Dead style through the house and eventually possesses Suzanne. Roger, being the only smart one, realizes that something's wrong with this house party and is like, deuces y'all. But the others aren't so quick to leave.
Oh, come on, let's hang out.
Yeah, eat a bowl of fuck! I am here to party! Yeah!
Helen decides she's gonna dip out with Raj as the rest decide to split up and do some exploring. But before they do, Suzanne gives Angela a hot-ass kiss, which, oh yeah, passes the demon into her, which means Angela is now possessed. And let that be a word of warning to all you kiddies out there. Don't go around kissing strange women, or men, or whoever for that matter, because not only could you catch herpes, you might also catch a demon. After splitting up, Max continues to tell gruesome legends about the property, as Jay continues to act like a condescending prick. Meanwhile, Helen and Roger can't seem to find the gate, which has mysteriously vanished. And so does Helen. Meanwhile, Jay is trying to do some bodily entry of his own, but gets cock-blocked by his own douchebaggery. All the while, Stooge keeps trying to get him a piece of some of that Suzanne pie. Which, I don't know, bro, have you seen her recently?
Faces of Meth.
Back at Party Central, Angela is, wow. Oh my, wow. Oh, I'm sorry, where was I? Oh yeah, that's right. Anyway, Sal starts realizing something isn't quite right and starts to exit the room as Stooge returns and scares the shit out of him. Fresh off striking out with Suzanne, Stooge tries his luck with Angela and fares much better. Well, to be honest, if I mean by faring better you get your tongue bitten out while kissing, then Stooge is the Mac Daddy, and oh yeah, by the way, he's also now possessed. Sal immediately runs into Suzanne, who asks for help putting on her lipstick. Sal, now the second smart one in the group, is like, nah, I'm good, laters. And after being rejected, Suzanne decides to dispose of the lipstick in a very unique way. Obviously, I can't show this scene because YouTube and all, and putting censors over it would not do it justice. It's just a very weird and creepy and unsettling but erotic scene, and the makeup effects here are just incredibly well done. Those of you that know and have seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Sal goes back to tell Angela he's peacing out, but before he goes, Angela wants to show him this new trick she learned by burning her hands in the fireplace.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
Meanwhile, outside, Raj finds Helen. Hello. And inside, Jay decides to cheat on Judy and find some easy snatch from Suzanne. But he ain't gonna like her O-face.
Stop looking at me.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. You don't have to tell me twice. I'll just turn around. I'll turn around here. You just keep doing what you're doing there. You're good. Yeah. I'll wait. You're good. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, now you're possessed. Max and Franny's boink session gets interrupted by Jay's screams, and also now a possessed Stooge, who helps Franny with a bit of chiropractic work, and then closes the lid on Max and his arm. Roger, now back inside, meets up with Sal, and the two find Judy locked in a room, just as Angela appears. Roger once again doesn't fuck around to find out, while Sal and Judy duck into a nearby room, where they discover Suzanne and Jay, in which Suzanne pimp slaps Sal out of a window as Judy runs for her life right into the room where Max and Franny were bumping uglies. Wow, Max, way to be disarming. What? Come on. No, that was a good one. All right. Let me think of another one here. Oh, I got it. Now that's what I call being armed and dangerous. Really? Seriously? Come on. Oh, you people are so damn fickle. You don't know how hard it is to try to come up with this shit on the fly. After Judy escapes Franny, Max, and Max's arm, we briefly cut to Sal, who is doing just fine and starts climbing his way to the roof. Meanwhile, Judy is still hauling ass through the house, running into possessed Stooge, and possessed Suzanne, who's all, smell my breath. Judy eventually finds her way to the roof, where Angela is waiting for her.
Enjoying the view.
Angela tries choking Judy, but Sal intercedes, and both he and Angela fall off the roof, where Sal is impaled by a spike, killing him. Damn it, Sal was one of my favorite characters too, and now he's dead? Son of a bitch. Judy eventually makes it down to Roger with a little help from Stooge, and the two run back into the house and lock themselves in the basement crematorium.
Look, Raj, there's a door.
No, you dumbass. That's an oven.
What? What's wrong?
It's an oven.
No, you don't say, Captain Obvious. Angela and Stooge show up, cornering the two survivors. Just then, Judy finally smartens up and pulls one of the gas pipes out of the oven. And just as Stooge and Angela break down the door, Judy lights that shit up and goes all Ellen Ripley on their asses. I do have to say that is a pretty ingenious way to get out of that situation, and they just couldn't resist doing that gag, could they? As Judy and Roger try to leave, Jay shows up to stop them.
What's the matter, Judy? Don't you think you're playing dead?
Damn, this demon's got sass. Its pun game is on point. Anyway, seeing that they are being cornered yet again and time is running out, Roger once again does the smart things and jumps out the fucking window. I know I continually rag on him for being a pussy, but Roger does continually do the smart thing in this movie. Damn, I'm starting to really like him.
No, Raj, we have to get past the wall. We have to cross over the underground stream.
There's the foreshadowing I told you about from earlier. Roger scales the wall first and then turns to help Judy, but loses his grip. And when it looks like Judy might be screwed because Raj is pussing out one last time, he dives back in at the last possible second and pulls her up and over just as the morning sun rises, vanquishing the evil spirits. And the movie concludes with our lone survivors walking home and that asshole old man from the beginning getting his just desserts by eating an apple pie made from the apples he put razors into. See what I did there?
Happy Halloween, dear.
And that was Night of the Demons from 1988. How does this movie grade out? Well, let's kick it on over to the retrograder and let's find out. The story gets a B-, and is probably the weakest aspect of this movie. I like the slow setup and the building of the characters and atmosphere, but once the possessing starts, it's like they slam their foot down on the gas pedal and speed through the second half of this movie. But even with that being said, it's not like there is much that needs to be explored or elaborated on by that point. You bought a ticket to see people get possessed, and damn it, they're gonna deliver. The characters get a B+, because all of them for the most part are great, and I think it goes without saying that Angela is the star here, along with Suzanne. But my favorites without a doubt are Sal and Stooge. I mean, they steal the show. But what keeps the characters from getting an A or higher is that there are just a few that are pure kill fodder, and there isn't much depth to them. Also, the acting across the board goes a little sus every now and then, especially with our lead Judy, who kind of delivers every line in the same flat tone. But whatever, I can let it slide, just because the rest of the movie is so much fun. The direction here gets a B. It's serviceable, but nothing really to write home about either. It gets the job done. But special props for this shot, because it's pretty freaking cool. Now, whether it was done digitally in post or if it was done in camera, I don't care, because it is just awesome. The music gets an A-, and once again, in cheap little horror flicks like these, I feel like the strongest common denominator is the music. Not only is the score itself a blessing to the ears, especially the main title theme, but they filled out the rest of the soundtrack with some great rock and punk music, including but not limited to Computer Date by Dennis Michael Tanay and Stigmata Martyr by Bauhaus. As it stands right now, this movie is at a B+, but you know what? I'm feeling a little bit generous, and I'm going to award bonus points for this movie, and I'm going to award it to the makeup and the effects. I would be remiss if I didn't address the makeup and effects, which are impeccable in this film. If there was one thing they didn't skimp on, it was the effects. Steve Johnson did an amazing job turning these kids into hellish-looking creatures. Well, for the most part anyway. But who cares? The makeup work on Suzanne, Angela, and Stooge alone more than make up the difference. So with all those grades now combined with the bonus points, that takes this movie from an 87%, which would have been a B+, all the way to an even 90%, which means that Night of the Demons from 1988 gets the grade of an A-. Night of the Demons isn't a masterpiece of horror, but it doesn't need to be. What it's trying to do is just have a fun time and drag you along for that 90-minute ride. If it wasn't for a couple brief moments where the cheapness pokes through, whether it would be set design, story, acting, or direction, I would say it's a near perfect blend of comedy and horror. Does it have a few flaws or shortcomings? Of course it does, but the film has a cheeky charm to it that allows you to look past all that. Plus it moves at such a brisk pace that it doesn't overstay its welcome. Fun characters, great music, and amazing special effects are more than enough to make up for any shortcomings in the plot or direction. Bottom line, if you are in the mood to have a good time while watching teens get savaged and possessed, then this is one I highly recommend. But yeah, everyone, that was Night of the Demons from 1988, and that was the original Night of the Demons. Now, I know there is a remake to this movie from probably about 10 years ago now or so, and I don't know if I really want to check that one out. I'm not really keen on remakes most of the time. It didn't look that appealing to me. Maybe that's just my nostalgia clouding my judgment. But maybe not. Maybe I'll grade it eventually down the road. Who knows? But what are your thoughts on Night of the Demons from 1988? I know this movie is a bit of a cult classic, and I may have spoiled it at the beginning by saying it's been one of my favorite horror movies for a long time. But I do believe I graded it fairly. What are your guys' grades on Night of the Demons? Would you have graded it higher? Would you have graded it lower? Please post your comments and your grades below in the comment section. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Adios. Now, GTFO!